Hello, my name is Don Emmanuel IRAGANJE, and I'm going to talk about the five functions of management. So, the functions of management are: there's planning, there is organizing, there is staffing, there is leading, there is controlling. So, talking about planning. Planning is a way of deciding what needs to happen in the future, and maybe I mean today, probably next week, probably next month, or next year, or over the next 5 years, and then generating plans for actions. For instance, I may want to increase the sales of a given company that I may be working in, and then to reach that goal, I would maybe need to map out different steps that I and my sales representative team will have to take in order to increase the sales. So, for instance, I may say, let's increase the sales. Let's increase the advertisements in particular, in a given particular area, or maybe place some items on sale, or maybe increase the amount of required customer to sales representative contact. Okay. As for organizing is about implementing a pattern of relationships among workers and making an optimum use of resources required to enable the successful carrying out of plans. For example, organizing, I may want to to carry out a given activity, I may want to identify first of all what I mean. First of all, I have to divide those activities into sections, identify those activities, and then classify those activities into groups, and then assign duties to a person who is able, who is capable in skills, and then delegate authority and create the responsibility to those tasks, so that I may have some people who are accountable in those tasks, and who will be giving to me the reports at each and every step of their actions. And let's talk about staffing. Staffing is a job analysis, recruitment and hiring of people with certain skills for appropriate job, and it also includes providing or facilitating an ongoing training, if necessary, to keep the skills current. So maybe an example I may give of staffing is, for instance, I may want to recruit given a staff to come to my company, and then for that in that time I will have to do the manpower planning. I will have to recruit the specific people for a particular purpose of work that I want to do. I want them to carry out. I will have to train them and develop them, remunerate them, do the performance appraisal, and then promote them and do the transfer. Maybe if one from this section of work, assign him to another section of work, because maybe there's this section of work which needs support from that guy. So then I will have to transfer him. So this is staffing. This is what the staffing function of management do. Now, let me talk about the leading. Leading is to determine what needs to be done and get the people or specific or particular people to do it. For example, I may need to supervise people. For instance, I need to hire people, and then I need to supervise them. I need to motivate them by doing some incentives, some promotions, or some, and etc. There are different ways of leading that a manager can show to his subordinates. Now, controlling is checking if the outcomes of a given action that the company has done is against the current is against the forecast plans, and if possible making some adjustments when necessary so that the goals are achieved. For example, you may want to establish, want to establish a standard of performance of your worker. When doing the controlling, you need to establish a standard of performance of your workers. You need to measure the actual performance. Try to compare the actual performance with the standards and find out if there is any deviation. And once there is a deviation, we want to correct the mistake and see if you can once that mistake is corrected, see if you can achieve the purpose or the goal of your company. Now, let's talk about the management styles. So, management first of all consists of planning, organizing and prioritizing, and all of those three leads to accomplishment of a certain purpose or objective within an organization. So, management styles then is the particular way of managing and going about accomplishing those objectives, and it encompasses the way that they make decisions, how they plan and organize their work, and how they exercise their authority. So now let me talk about directing. Directing styles is about promoting learning through listening and following directions. So maybe let me talk about the example. For instance, you may go to do a you may go for a blood test, and then the the lab technicians tells you to roll up your sleeves, and to extend your arm. He first tells you how to squeeze your hand, and the way he will be doing his sampling, and when you and he tells you when you will do it. So after the blood is drawn, he gives you specific guidelines about holding the cotton swab over the area where he pissed with his needle. And then the advantage the advantage of that is because of that directing style is because the manager is in full control of all the time, while the disadvantage is that the subordinate gets very little time or opportunity for learning. Now, delegating style is the style that promotes learning through empowerment. Now, a teacher may tell her students, now you have an assignment to write 3 up to 4 pages on a given topic. For instance, like I said, the effects of drug abuse to the youth, and then your paper is due next week. So the teacher explains to them how they will do it, and then how to get it done is left up to students to do it. So the pros of that delegating style is that the subordinates are submitted to the manager and give him total control over everything. Sorry, but the cons is that there may be a temptation for managers to take on more work in mentoring than is feasible. So discussing style. Now this style promotes learning through interaction. Now, for instance, the manager may call a meeting and open a discussion and tell them, I want to start. I want to debate. Or maybe I want your ideas about how we can raise the productivity of this company and be on the top of all our competitors. So now the pros or the strength of that style is that people feel that they have a voice, that they are welcome to contribute ideas, that they have a contribution in the advance or development of the company. While the weakness is that there may be a slower process change or inability to move at a higher speed because those contribution will hinder the manager from taking decisions because everyone is given a word, everyone is given a chance to speak, and everybody feels like he yeah yeah. The manager is sometimes confused what to do, what to take, but once the manager is controlling himself, is having full control, he takes decisions based on the way he or she understands.